FIFA Council member from Nigeria, Pinnick. Good to have you join us on this special interview.
Always a privilege.
Awesome. Let's talk about what's going on in Qatar, the FIFA World Cup. From a FIFA Council member perspective, what sort of World Cup has it been?
If I say it's phenomenal, I think I'm not using the right adjective to qualify this. It's been beyond our wildest imagination, trust me. Everything has been easy. It's a spectacle beyond our comprehension. From traffic to vehicle activities to the quality of the facilities, the stadia, the training sites, the hospitals, the hotels, just beyond amazing. I can tell you that for free because it's something that we've eagerly anticipated, and we worked side by side with the Supreme Council for Delivery and Legacy from the Qatari government. And trust me, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I were to score this at this moment, I'll score 11. It's beyond 10, that I can tell you. I give you an example. There's nowhere I've been attending World Cup since 1998 till date. And I can tell you emphatically that we only struggle to watch maybe 2-3 matches, 4 matches at the most. This World Cup, personally, I've watched 54 matches. It's unprecedented.
You talked about the good things that Qatar has done, but as you see it on those VIP seats, as a Nigerian and the Super Eagles are missing from this World Cup, is it all about regrets for you?
Yeah, it's quite at the beginning. I felt very humbled. I felt very, very bad. Because it's not just about me or the country. A lot of people were concerned that Nigeria was not there, from the FIFA president to the CAF president to most of my colleagues in the council and most confederation. Where are the Super Eagles, So, but of course, they also understand that it is football. They also understand that football can tilt towards any direction. But trust me, that moment in March was my lowest moment since I was born. Because we did everything humanly, materially, spiritually possible to ensure. But like I would say, it's a story for another day.
But you've been accused that you used the NFF to get to where you are at the moment, and that you've not shown enough remorse, or you've not done things to ensure that Nigerian football picks up again.
How do you mean? How do you mean? Because it is, when I hear things like that, it hurts me because nobody wanted Nigeria to qualify more than I did. I know what I went through with Nike to have that jersey. We wanted, but for nothing to win our jerseys, we wanted to celebrate Nigeria. We wanted people to queue in the streets of London, in New York, in Doha, in those proud footballing nations and beyond. We wanted that. We had sleepless nights. But as you say, life must go on. Your primary responsibility is your family. And when I look at my family, would I want to die? No. So regret is not sitting at home and having blood pressure. Regret is when you think, you take a self-appraisal and say, where did you go wrong? If you won't believe you didn't go wrong anywhere, what is the next step? And that was exactly what we did. When we found out that, okay, what do we do? I called my executive together at that point, and we started and re-engineered our youth development program. And today, all our youth teams qualified for all the championships because we had to rejig our system. We didn't just stay back and kept crying that Nigeria did not qualify. People did not know all this. But we had to rejig our internal system. And trust me, it should not end with me, because the gospel I preach tomorrow is that qualification is very important, but football development is 10 times more important than just qualifying for tournament. Because if you have a proper football...
But you have to qualify for the World Cup.
Yes, listen, I'm not telling you that qualification is as important as football. You have to work very pursue. It is very, very important. But because development is what you can control, qualification is not what you can control, then you have to emphasize 100% on both. One is without your control, because when the level men get on the pitch, no longer you cannot control. There are too many things that I would want to also advise. It's not about all the administrators, because we keep losing the best brains if we keep pouring blames on the administrators.
But some people must be accountable.
Yes, I'm not telling you that people should not be accountable. But tell me, if I will ask you, what exactly did you do wrong? Let me ask you, as a journalist.
No, you tell me some of the mistakes you made that you need to avoid.
But listen, in those two particular games, let me know. Those are the games because we led our group, leading to those double header. We led our group. The only match we lost was against Central African Republic in Lagos, which was a bitter taste, a sour taste in our mouth. Quite disgraceful, you know. But 3 days thereafter, we were resurgent enough to bounce back and won the other game. We led our group. Then in terms of preparation, we sat with the players, we traveled. We sat with the players and asked them what they wanted. And they told us A, B, C, D. We did A, B, C, D, E, F. Went beyond their demands. Oh, they wanted the best hotel in Kumasi. And in Kumasi, we had Golden Tulip as the top hotel. Ghana had already occupied Golden Tulip. Of course, we raised objections to it because they were meant to play in Gold Coast. And FIFA asked Ghana to leave the hotel in their country. And we kept the Super Eagles there. We went with the newest aircrafts Epis brought. They stayed in the best hotel. The ministry and the NFF worked so closely in ensuring. Then we came back, they were quartered in a remote hotel, 5-star standard in Abuja, giving everything that they wanted. At the end of the day, a keeper made a mistake, and the next thing they turned and were facing the president of NFF.
So are you saying
Nigeria
should blame the Super Eagles for not qualifying and don't look at administration?
I'm not saying is if at that point we did anything wrong, I'm asking you to tell me. No, because it's not all about the blame game. Trust me, it's not only about, oh, you want to blame. When do you move on? When do you move on from this point to this point? I came out to say that of course, as the leader of football at that point, I accepted responsibility for Nigeria not qualifying. But nobody will tell you the pains I went through, the sleepless nights I had, the doctors I had to visit. Nobody will tell you that. Nobody wants to fail. That's the blind truth.
When you look at Nigerian football, I get what you're trying to say, but when you look at Nigerian football now, are you proud of the state at which you left it?
What do you want? If you are going into any endeavor, there must be a motive. What was my motive coming to Nigerian football? In other words, in the corporate parlance, you call it the key performance indicators. What was my key performance indicator? What was it? I didn't say Nigeria was going to win World Cup. I believe we had an interview then 8 years ago. I said I was going to introduce a culture of sustainable football development. Did I do that? I would say it's 100%. To an appreciable level, we did it. A culture of fiscal discipline, because fiscal discipline enables finance into your system. Did we do it? Yes, we did it. When I say 100%, I can say 80%, because we introduced companies like Price of Waterhouse and Financial Derivatives to take care of those very critical areas. Did I bring money into the NFF? Of course we did it. we brought 80% of the funding of our federation. It will interest you to know that, like we say, it's not everything you come out you want to say, because there are some people that will misconstrue what you say for like, oh, you're trying to paint the government in a very bad picture.
And that's why you should clear those misconceptions. For instance, you've just said something good about the financial stability you brought, but we see cases where players complain about welfare not paid and coaches' salaries being delayed.
You should realize that when I came on, coaches, even from 2010, we cleared all their salaries. And of course, we introduced a concept of attaching a sponsor to a particular endeavor, to a particular program, like the coaches. Of course, we had a company, I tell you, and they started facing challenges because of the economy, because of the economic downturn in the country. Let me also say something here today, Nigeria is going through a phase. And if I tell you that phase is not affecting every fabric of the society, I'll tell you it's not true. You are going through a very negative phase in terms of the economy, not just Nigeria, most African countries, in terms of economy, in terms of security, there are a lot of challenges. Are you going to tell me that football now will not be thriving in isolation? Where do you get your funding from? One of our sponsors told me at that point, he said, listen, we don't think we can continue. I said, why? He said, a bottle of their soft drink in Nigeria is equivalent to a crate of their soft drink in South Africa. Now we have to reduce our cost. And the first part of call in reducing our cost is corporate social responsibility. He said, whether I like it or not, what we are doing with you is corporate social responsibility. I said, no, it's partnership. He said, with or without the Football Federation, people will drink this particular. What about security? Now you need to get a lot of security when you're going for games. What does that do? It impacts on your budget. So if you look at the entire fabric, there are a lot of things that affected. But we did not even come out to say it because we are good partners in progress with the government. If you are signed on to work, you should make some sacrifices that will enable you come out, either good or bad. And those are the sacrifices we made. People did not understand it. Football cannot just thrive in isolation. There must be a foundation. There are a lot of issues. So people just look at it. Why? I say today, when Ghana played against Nigeria, those double-header, my colleague told me, the government appropriated $3.5 million for those two games. In Nigeria, I'll say it, with all due respect to everybody concerned, because you are saying we did not receive a dime from the government. Because at that point, we didn't consider it as being very, very critical. We did not. What we considered critical at that point was interfacing with the players. From our private sector driven funds, they understood that we would pay them because we had this bond. We built a family out of the team. And they understood that was even all what they needed to do at that point was give us 100%. People did not know all those things. The minister on his own, he tried. We did our memo, this is what to do, to motivate, to do. But that was to us was secondary. But how many people will know about this? So the truth is, I'm not going to start sitting here and say that there are a lot of things I do not regret. And that's why I'm happy to have a colleague that possibly understood it, not just me, the former administration of Megeri, my administration, he was a key player, and now he's the president.
I'm glad you've mentioned that. So let's talk about the new NFF president, Ibrahim Gusso. Did you influence his emergence as NFF president?
I want to ask you a question. How?
I'm asking you the question.
You can ask me the question because it was democratically elected. It was democratically elected as the president. Do I have any kind of influence? I didn't have any votes.
Was he your candidate?
Did I have any candidate? Was Kwande not called my candidate? Was Shehu Diko not called my candidate? Was Ibrahim Gusso not called my candidate? So how many candidates will I have? So I can tell you, we provided level playing ground for everybody. And that was why there was no fracas. That was why nobody went to the appeal. Nobody, because there was visibly nothing. But of course, I'll be happy to have one of my own, a friend of over 15 years, mount a saddle, a friend that I know will take the good part of what we did and show me with some of the things he didn't consider as good. And that is the truth.
So from a place of sincerity, is Ibrahim Gusau the right man to lead football in Nigeria?
I don't understand why you won't ask that question. Ibrahim Gusau has been the chairman of his state FA. He has held very sensitive positions in NFF and also in CAF. He was initially a member of the CHAN committee. CHAN committee is a privileged committee in CAF. He was on merit selected into that committee. Again, he was selected into the Youth Development Committee by this new CAF administration. So you cannot say a guy like that does not have anything to offer. And if you look at what he has demonstrated in the last 3 months, trying to tidy up, trying to create peace, he knows it's not going to be rosy. Like I said, I'm not going to interfere, but I will intervene when I'm needed. And all the times he has called me. Like I also called Aminu Megeri when I needed him. Because as president, you need experience. You cannot go to the shelf and pluck it up from there. You need people to guide you. Even though he was very key and central in my administration, he calls me, President, listen, President Emeritus, we need to talk to some of these sponsors. Can you come with me? I looked at my schedule, of course I'll come with you. I love Nigerian football. Even if my worst enemy had won, I would have worked with him. That's the love I have for this country. We went round, okay, in there to see some of my colleagues globally, we went round, and so far our relationship has been quite harmonious. And I'm very, very happy the way I started. It's not going to be easy. It's going to meet a lot of brick walls because the totality of Nigerians are all coaches. So you should be ready. Did
you support Ibrahim Gusau just so you can still have some sort of control in the NFF?
Why do I need to have any kind of control in the NFF? Let me ask you.
You tell me.
No, you cannot be asking me that. Why do I need to have any control?
Because men love power.
I said, no, if you know I'm a deep Pinnick, you know that I'm not like that. I was executive chairman Delta State Sports Commission for close to 8 years. If you ask Tony Okowa, we have our relationship is like this. Brilliant, wonderful. But whenever I needed me, call me. I never went back to say, you do it this way, you do it that way. No. Oh, chairman, I used to do this thing. The same way I used to call Solomon Ogba. So Nigeria should start looking at it differently. Why do I want to hold on to power? Power belongs to God, not to anyone else. If you want to hold on to power, it builds on you that you want to do it, but it has never, ever been my style. I love him. I love everybody. I don't begrudge people.
So are you saying you are completely out of the affairs of the NFF now?
I've been called the President Emeritus, which in regular parlance, once you serve meritoriously, you'll be given that kind of a prefix to your name, which is okay, So, but the love of the country, of course, I will do anything I'm called upon to do. You can also imagine, for the first time in the history of Nigerian football, I went back after I got out of office, and I officially handed over. And I recall that moment. It was a very emotional moment for me because my staff, middle, low, high, some were crying, It was quite emotional because I wasn't a bad leader, with all due respect. We demonstrated everything we could demonstrate. We wanted to bring Nigeria back to global reckoning. We did that. Today we are proud to see A.U. Mustafa, SAN, as the president of the CAF Appeals Board. We are proud to have Justice Ayotunde Phillips as a member of the FIFA Ethics Committee, one of the only 3 Africans. She's been there for 6 years. We are also happy to have Samson Adamu as a director competition, one of the top 3 public servants in CAF, and he's still growing. And just watch out for him. We are proud to have someone like Christian Omero as the head of security. We are proud to have even Ibrahim as a member of the CAF, proud to have Sheikh Dikpo as a member of FIFA Stakeholders Committee, and also the CAF Interclub, and also a member of the IFAB. We are proud to have so many Nigerians. We did not just limit it to ourselves. We were able to make people understand that Nigeria, in every 5 blacks in the world, 1 is a Nigerian. That is the thing we're throwing at people. For people to understand that Nigeria is a country so hugely blessed. Nigeria is not here today, but you see, after most games, Nigerian music reigns in the air, you know, because Nigeria is that important, not just to the globe, but especially to FIFA.
But you hold a juicy position in FIFA Council. How can you use that role for the benefit of the country, Nigeria?
I'm a member of the FIFA Council. It's a very sensitive and very critical organization. I cannot say emphatically that there's any direct. I represent Africa in the FIFA Council. I represent 22 Anglophone nations. At the moment, those are my primary constituencies. Nigeria happens to be one of the 22 African nations. Whatever support they can give, I will give. I'm a Nigerian. There are so many things that are better left unsaid, and that should sink in. But trust me, my immediate constituency right now is global football. Then, if you come to my sectional responsibility, it's the 22 Anglophone countries, which I commune with on a daily basis, and possibly report back to CAF and also to FIFA. And I'm also very, very proud to say that I'm a Nigerian, and we've been able to build respect back. And like I said, in the future, I went to school. I didn't go to school to pass exams. I went to school to acquire knowledge. If I do not put some of the things down as memos, then going to school actually would have been a waste. So I'm going to come out. We've already gotten 2 very top ghostwriters. I'm going to come out with 2 books in future to narrate some of the things in my last 8 years. So when you take that book, it becomes a reference point in Nigerian football. It's going to be as it is, not minding any consequences, because people need to know so that we can move on. I give you an example. Today, everybody is celebrating Morocco.
I was going to get there. What are the lessons we can learn from Morocco? Look at Morocco. They don't have the sort of talent that we have.
This is what you think.
What did they do that we are not doing?
That is what you think. Let me tell you, Morocco, in 2017, Nigeria was among the first countries that went to Morocco to have a bilateral relationship in football development, understudy what they were doing. And then I had a discussion with the minister, who was also to meet, or rather I met with the Moroccan ambassador, minister. But what happened is a story that will be succinctly captured in my book. Now, I also had a discussion with this current minister some time ago about a legacy project I wanted to do, even before buying out. The project that I was going to talk to, or rather, I'd already spoken to the leadership of FIFA about some of our funding, whereby we're going to raise about between $10 to $12 million, which would have been about 6 to 7 billion naira. What we're going to do to build a 3-star hotel, world-class facilities, outdoor swimming pool, world-class gym, 100 room, that we have like an amphitheater by the side, 4 football pitches, 2 synthetic, 2 grass, and a mini stadium, a 1,000 seating capacity stadium, mini stadium. Now, I developed a model of raising these funds. I've spoken to one of the wealthiest men in this continent about the mini stadium being named after him, for him to part ways with about $1 million. I was also going to talk to 2-3 of my friends that will also enable us another $2 million. And the construction company that was also to build this facility was also meant to give us whatever shortfall that we need to put this facility in place. We'll look at the equity and say, for example, if it's $2 million, that's about 20%. That 20% will enable you to name the place, for example, whatever Julius Berger Technical, NFF Julius Berger Technical Center.
So why didn't that work?
But it's a story for another day. I've told, Ibrahim has also asked me, the president, about that vision. And I said, Ibrahim, if you want, definitely this is what you must do to ensure that we have these facilities for several reasons. Already in the technical center, there's a 50-room hotel. There's a 50-room hostel. I mean, 50-room capacity, I don't know, less converted for the junior national teams. The hotel that I was saying will be camping because a chunk of our funds go for camping. When the Super Eagles are not there, you can rent it as a hotel and fund the federation. We had a very, very, very tall dream. But like I said, in administration, you can only do what your tenure permits you to do. You allow someone else to do. If the person needs you, or that they can come up with a better idea, a more robust idea. And that's the beauty of transition.
I want to go back to the Morocco story. What are the lessons?
Let me tell you what Morocco did. I'm very close to Morocco. Very, very close to the Federation. In fact, Fawzi and I are one of the closest, allies. We work very closely. And we are both in FIFA and CAP. We are both in the council. It's just believe in the leadership, even if things were not going right. The system believes in their leadership. In 2018, Morocco prepared 100% to win the Nations Cup. They hired Abe Rane. Rene had won the Nations Cup with Zambia. They had won the Nations Cup just before then with Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
Indeed, it was seen as one of the best coaches. They were ready. But what happened? What happened? They went to Egypt, and in the first round, after topping their group, they were kicked out of the tournament. They went back to their country. I knew some people were making noise, oh, the leadership. But guess what? The system kept faith with them, sat them down, and asked them, what do you think is the problem? And how can we build?
What system kept faith with them?
Their system, their government, their leadership kept faith.
Then the government kept faith with the NFF when you were president?
It's a story for another day.
No, let's say it now. We're here.
No, I am telling you, the system kept faith with them, supported them when they were down, took responsibility, and today the rest is history. I don't want to start talking, I've kept quiet all this while. I just believe everything will be properly documented because I don't want to be most quoted. So if you pick my book, I can defend it.
Are you alleging that you didn't get the sort of support you needed as NFF president to achieve the results you wanted?
From my executive committee, I had 100% support. From the Congress, I had 100% support. But we had our superintendent. Will I say the first 4 years? No. We were struggling, battling, having sorts of challenges, cooked up, in the last 4 years, yes, they started well, but at the end of the day, it went back to the same thing. So, but I'm not going to start apportioning blame. Like I said, as the leader of the football in Nigeria, I've taken responsibility. I'm the one being battered right, left, and corner. But the good news is that a lot of people a lot of people, because I move everywhere, still come to me and say, we know it wasn't your fault. We know people just, thank God you have left the Federation. I'm telling you, a lot of Nigerians.
So whose fault? You were the
I have taken responsibility, so let's leave it at that.
So Nigeria didn't qualify for the World Cup because of Amaju Pinnick.
I take that responsibility. Let me take that responsibility. Let me give you people, oh, why did you sack the coach? Why did you do that? Do you think Amaju Pinnick will sit here and take a decision alone to sack a coach?
Do you regret the sacking of
No. Do you think, I don't have any regret, but do you think I will sit here and take that unilateral decision? I will not. Why? Because I cannot take that kind of decision alone. I had an executive committee, I had a ministry had a presidency. It was very sensitive. So we work, and trust me, 98% or if not 99% of Nigerians were in sync with what we were doing at that time. Because we noticed so many things in terms of discipline, in terms of attitude of players. Look at the attitude of players in this World Cup. The African teams, once they play, they're very proud. It's time we start talking to our players to change that culture of only when they are playing for Nigeria, they should come all out. Look at the Moroccans. Look at the Ghanaians. Look at some of the African, look at other countries, the Senegalese. They played with their hearts. Our players should start imbibing that. Ahmed Musa 100%. He will be 100%. Indeed, 100%.
Should we also blame the NFF under your leadership for the level of indiscipline we saw in the Super Eagles at the time?
No, when you say level of indiscipline, you don't blame the Federation. There's a coach. And the coach is his responsibility to instill discipline.
Why at the coach?
Yes.
Who is he answerable to?
He's answerable to us. Yeah. But he is the one that is, because it's part of the contract. I cannot go to the player and say, I want to invite. What is discipline? Discipline is a reprimand, right? Reprimand means if a player is 100%, the coach says he wants him, I say I don't want him. So there's no way we can work. So the responsibility should be his 100%.
If you have a chance to be NFF president.
No, it's fine.
What would you do differently?
No. If I had an opportunity to be NFF.
What would you do differently?
I don't want to have an opportunity to be NFF president.
I'm just trying to understand some of the things that you said to yourself that, I'm a junior with Pinnick, you should have done this, you should have done that. So if we're to rewind time, what would you do differently?
If I were to be NFF president again, the first thing I would do is to have 100% assurances from the system to say I'll be given 100% support. The Federation will be giving. Once we have that, if you look at the sequence from Abdulmumin Aminu to Kojo Williams to Dominic Oneya to Galadima to Lulu to Megeri to me, it's been systemic and leadership tussle.
You're saying system. Are you trying to say the ministry?
It depends on how you want to apply it. System. If you say system, there's a system. You know me, I don't go to prevaricate. I'll tell you the way it is. It is that, if you look at it, I'm telling you. So it's not about just Amaju Pinnick. We just pray. We have a rethink of sincerity of purpose. I'm not telling you that I'm perfect. There's no way I will say that. I'm not telling you that I came to NFF. You can come with your vision, but your vision needs to be seen, needs to be harmonized with the visions of all your executive committees, committee members, because you are just one among the 16 of you. Now, you need to convince them that your argument, your vision is more superior. If you don't convince them rightly, your battle starts from there. So to me, I'm not going to sit here and, the ministry and I, the ministry of my leadership, they are the superintendent. You give it to them. We had a warm relationship at the beginning. At the point it goes sour, at the point it become warm. Going sour, possibly There are some issues that we believe we were right. No, they say they are the superintendent, they were right, that we must implement. So it goes back and forth. But we always make it clear to them that, listen, we are the technocrats. And that's why we're elected. Please listen to us. So little things can cost us. And people around us, these are echo chamber. So because to me, we will look at Sunday Diary and will say we don't want him as a minister. Tell me. We will look at him and say he doesn't want to be a minister. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And my life is that I've done 8 years. I'm in the FIFA Council. I'm here today by the grace of God. And I thank God. I have 2.5 more years to go. At the end of my 2.5 years, by God's grace, I'm going to run again.
If Nigeria had qualified for the World Cup, would you have continued as NFL president?
It was 60-80 because I had my family at 60-40. I had my family to contend with because I have a young family and my life is my family. If you know me, my life is my family. And my family was tired. Father, daddy read. Even my youngest daughter, she reads. They are tired. Daddy, come home. We've seen that the last NFL president lasted only 4 years. You have done 8 years. So I had my family and my businesses. I'm into a lot of things, which of course you are aware. So I needed to also take it to a much higher level. I needed to now sit and galvanize the various parts of my endeavors and all those things. So very possibly I would have said no. If I had run, maybe. Till last minute, till the last day, they were picking and dropping form. Members in my executive committee were still insisting that I should run. Yes. A lot of people were still insisting, but I saw it spiritually. And if you go against any form of spiritualism, anything catastrophic possibly may have happened.
Let's bring it globally now. What are you learning as FIFA Council member?
A lot.
Tell us some.
Integrity, discipline, organization, administration, loyalty. I can go on and on. FIFA is an 100% organization. Family.
I've picked loyalty, CAF, particularly you've been mentioned too, that you guys are like puppets to Infantino.
What do you mean, puppet to Infantino?
Does it control the affairs at CAF?
Can Infantino control Patrice Motsepe? Do you know Patrice Motsepe's pedigree? These are the questions you should ask. You see, the truth is, we can't just be putting things out there, you know. CAF is quite supportive of Infantino without any regret. Why? Because Infantino has shown us love. Everything that we request, he has demonstrated. And one of the results is Morocco, Senegal, and even Nigeria. There's nothing we have requested. So he has always been supportive of Africa. And remember, the first General Secretary, that's a lady, is from Sub-Saharan Africa, from Senegal, Fatma Samora, who was coincidentally working in Nigeria at that point. So give me a reason why we should not support Gianni. So if we don't support him, then it means there's something fundamentally wrong. You have demonstrated it's beyond phenomenon in terms of, it's not just Africa, that I can tell you. CONCACAF, the same kind of loyalty and support. Even UEFA, at least over 50% support. Then the Asian Confederation. So to us, look at him. He's going for his third tenure. Nobody is going to run against him. What does that tell you? When people say, oh, Qatar. If you don't come to Qatar, stop criticizing. You need to come and see yourself. If you don't come here, oh, no, nothing. Qatar, they've demonstrated in our lifetime what no nation will demonstrate in terms of hosting the World Cup. No nation will be able to demonstrate in our lifetime, I can tell you.
Why? What did they do?
Can you watch 2 matches in a day in the World Cup? We're watching 4 matches in a day. Name country that can.
No, it's because of the size of the country. One.
Yes.
And then we're having an unusual World Cup.
It's unusual.
It's happening in winter.
In winter is the same year. So things can happen for different reasons. So we don't just criticize. Everything on this planet should be given equal rights. And that's what FIFA has been standing for. Turks and Caicos, there are only 33,000 people. My village, we have more people than Turks and Caicos. It's a country. They have one vote. India, with close to 600-700 million people, or over 1 billion, they have only one vote. That is the kind of equality we have in FIFA.
Pinnick, I must say thank you so much for your time. Always a delight to have you speak to us on Channels Television. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.